Hey guys, it's Nicole. I'm back with another video, and today's video is going to be about a book. This book I found because I had just read a book that was kind of depressing. A very good read, don't get me wrong. I will probably make a video about it later on, but it was the kind of book that was meaningful and really important to read, but was depressing. And I don't know about anybody else, but I need feel-good books just to have every now and then, especially after reading such a depressing book. So I actually went online and I searched up lists. I was like, Google, give me a list of feel-good books, because I just need a feel-good book. Give me something to make myself feel better and like read something like hopeful and optimistic instead of very depressing. So I found a list. I actually found 2 books on the list that I really wanted to read from it, and this is one of them. This is honestly it's a fiction book. It's not really a romance book. I want to say just feel good is a good way to describe it, because there is romance in it, but it's also about finding yourself after heartbreak, and finding what you love in life and finding the joy in life. And you know, it's kind of more just than romance, but the romance is a part of it. So if you like romance, you'll like this book. So the book I'm going to be talking about today is Funny Story, which, love the title. Definitely an intriguing message for sure. It's by Emily Henry, and I love this book. First of all, I don't know if you can like properly see the color of this book, but I just love this color. I don't know if it's some sort of blue or purple, but I'm very much obsessed with the color. And I love the picture, the art on the front. You know, it's just these 2 people getting a drink, and they're very casual. They don't seem very into each other. They seem very like, well, here we are. And I think that makes it even more interesting, because you look at the cover art and you're like, I wonder what's going on there. So both of those things definitely attracted me to the book after I read about it on that list. And I'm going to go ahead and read the synopsis before I go into talking about a little bit of anything. But as usual, I promise I will not give any spoilers. I will do this first part of the video just as a vague review. And then I will clearly make a mark and be like, hey, this is going into the spoilers part now. If you don't want spoilers, now is the time to close the video. That way, no spoilers, I promise. No spoilers right now. I'm just going to read the inside cover, the synopsis. So it starts at the top. It's a funny story. Daphne always loved the way her fiancé Peter told their story. How they met on a blustery day, fell in love over an errant hat, and moved back to his lakeside hometown to begin their life together. He was really good at telling it, right up until the moment he realized he was actually in love with his childhood best friend, Petra. Which is how Daphne begins her new story, stranded in beautiful Waning Bay, Michigan, without friends or family, but with a dream job as a children's librarian that barely pays the bills, and proposing to be roommates with the only person who could possibly understand her predicament, Petra's ex, Miles Nowak. Scruffy and chaotic, with a penchant for taking solace in the sounds of heartbreak love ballads, Miles is exactly the opposite of practical, buttoned-up Daphne, whose coworkers know so little about her. They have a running bet that she's either FBI or in witness protection. The roommates mainly avoid one another, until one day, while drowning their sorrows, they form a tenuous friendship and a plan. If said plan also involves posting deliberately misleading photos of their summer adventures together, well, who could blame them? But it's all just for show, of course, because there's no way Daphne would actually start her new chapter by falling in love with her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex, right? So basically the plot of it sounds like a Hallmark movie. So if you like Hallmark movies, you'll like this book, I promise. It's very much the drama, and they pretend to be a couple and then they actually fall in love, that kind of book. And you can, that's not a spoiler, you can literally garner that from just reading the synopsis, so that's not a spoiler. But if you like Hallmark movies, you'll love this book. And I personally love Hallmark movies, unironically. I will sit and watch them with my mom during the holidays because it's a tradition now. Like, Hallmark movies are just the best. They are predictable and just all of the wonderful things that you can imagine you want at the holidays, basically. So I do recommend it if you like Hallmark movies. I am going to go ahead and read the first page of the first chapter. I don't know if anyone likes that I do that. If you don't, comment below. I just feel like maybe it gives people like a kind of vibe for what the book sounds like. And then maybe it can help you decide if you actually want to read it or not. So the first chapter starts, actually every chapter starts with, it has the date and then, well, let me start. Chapter 1. Wednesday, May 1st. 108 days until I can leave. And this is from Daphne's perspective. Some people are natural storytellers. They know how to set the scene, find the right angle, when to pause for a dramatic effect, or breeze past inconvenient details. I wouldn't have become a librarian if I didn't love stories, but I've never been great at telling my own. If I had a penny for every time I interrupted my own anecdote to debate whether this actually had happened on a Tuesday or if it had in fact been a Thursday, then I'd have at least 40 cents. And that's way too big a chunk of my life wasted for way too small of a payout. Peter, on the other hand, would have 0 cents and a rapt audience. I especially loved the way he told our story about the day we met. It was late spring 3 years ago. We lived in Richmond at the time, a mere 5 blocks separating his sleek apartment in a renovated Italiante from my shabby, not quite chic version of the same kind of place. That's the first page. I'm not going to go into what the story is, because if you want to read it and you want to know the story, you're going to have to read the book for yourself. But yes, it goes into how Daphne met Peter, her soon-to-be ex-fiance, which is not a spoiler because it says so in the synopsis, because that's not what the book's about. It's mainly how the book starts. So, it's a really good read. If you just need something to feel good, because I don't know about anybody else, but I try to bury my head in the sand as much as I can when it comes to what's going on in the world right now. I mean, I'll pay attention and do what I can, but it's kind of impossible to be doing it every second of all the time, every day. And so sometimes you just need something to make you feel good. A book, a TV show, a movie. I'm pointing at my TV and you can't see it. And I think that this book is one of those things. So I highly recommend it. I really do. I don't know what type of books you might be into personally, but if you need a feel-good book that has romance, that's not all romance, I promise, this is definitely a really good choice, and it's one of my favorites from last year. I've mentioned in previous videos that last year, 2024, I read 35 books. I have set my goal this year for 36. I don't know if I'll get it. I'm kind of behind on books right now. I've just been so crazy busy. It's been chaotic. But I do intend to make books about books. I do intend to make videos about the books that I've been reading. And I'm doing videos on books I read last year. Specifically, I'm doing the ones from my favorite books. I will make videos later on about some books that I read that maybe weren't my favorite, but I still liked and have an appreciation for that I read. I don't think I read any books that I regret reading, but I do have some books that I read that I'm like, this is not for me. So I will probably make videos about those books too, but right now I'm kind of enjoying making videos about my favorite books, so that's why I'm making this one. But anyway, that's kind of it for my little vague review of the book. So if you don't want any spoilers and you just want to bow out before I give the spoilers, now is the time to close the video. And if you are going to close the video, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you check out my other content. I do make videos about books, but I also make other types of videos. So check out my stuff, and thank you so much for watching. Okay, so now is the point where I'm going to go into spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, you're going to get them right now, and I'm not going to be held responsible because I'm telling you right now we're going into spoilers. So this book is really great. I don't know how anyone else is doing in their personal life, but some things in my personal life are not going the way I wanted them to. So having this book was kind of perfect for me personally. You know, it starts out kind of in a really sour place, you know. Basically, I think it's even after the first chapter. Yeah. She talks about Peter, but he already has left her for Petra. So the book starts with that, where she was literally about to get married. She upended her entire life and moved to a place with no family and hadn't had any friends or made any friends. All of her friends were Peter's friends. And now she's planning on leaving. But it was funny that she decided, she's the one that asked Miles, which is Petra's now ex, that we should move in together because Petra left Miles and Miles had his own apartment. So Daphne here at the end of this chapter goes, how many bedrooms does your apartment have? So they move in together because she's like, I just need a roommate until I can leave. And I like how clear this book is. It kind of gives you like little indications. So obviously the first chapter where I said, you know, here's the date, 108 days before I can leave. And then chapter 2 goes back in April before I knew I needed to leave. So it definitely goes back and forth between the present and the past, but they're very clear indications as to where you are. And I like that a lot personally, because I do get easily confused. I'll be like, but wait, what happened here? Oh, okay, they're going back in time. I get it now. So that's a really great aspect of the book too, just in terms of organization. But the other thing I love about this book is, yes, obviously a romance blossoms between Daphne and Miles, which is great. And I love the way it does because, you know, they're kind of like, you know, we're just being honest around each other. Like, we're not interested in each other. We're just being friends, you know? And then it starts to turn into something more. So they were already being themselves, and then they fell in love with each other, which is the best way to go about falling in love, because you want someone to fall in love with you for who you actually are, not who you want them to think you are. So I love that aspect of the book. The other thing I love about this book so much is that Daphne works at a library, and she works specifically as a children's librarian, and she even reads children's books every Saturday, Sunday, I don't know for sure. But she works with another woman named Ashley. And at first, it even mentions in the synopsis, everyone that Daphne worked with thought she was like in the FBI or the Witness Protection Program, because she just keeps so much of herself to herself that when she initiates a friendship with Ashley, Ashley's like shocked. And Ashley has a son with her ex that they co-parent. And they become very fast friends, but at the same time, both Ashley and Daphne are kind of holding back, you know, a little bit scared to let a friend in for reasons that they both have that are very separate. And, you know, there even happens to be some friendship betrayal and misunderstandings between the two of them. And there's even a reconciliation between the two of them, where they become more honest with each other and are like, I don't really have friends, and I got scared because you hurt me and this and that. And then they become closer because of that. And I love that so much because it's not just about romance. It's about being yourself and the connections you'll make, the very valuable, true, honest connections you'll make with people just from being yourself and being honest and sincere. Because if you hurt someone, it's kind of on you to apologize. It doesn't really matter what your intentions were. And I know that that's a debatable topic, but the truth of the matter is, if someone's feelings are hurt, that's what it is. And it's important to acknowledge that and go, wow, I hurt your feelings. And this situation, those were not my intentions, so I definitely did not mean to do that. So I'm really sorry. And I like that they show that here, because I think that's a very important aspect of any relationship, especially friendships, that isn't really written about a lot. And so, yes, I love the romance in this book. I love Miles and Daphne getting together. I think that they suit each other very well, very opposites attract kind of thing. But the other thing I really love about this book is the relationship between Daphne and Ashley, because friendships between anyone are super important, and I love that it's something that's paid attention to pretty much almost at the same level as the romance in this book. There's also stuff between her and her dad, Daphne and her dad. She has a strained relationship with her dad, and there's definitely some stuff in there with it. And I think that they kind of come to like a reconciliation, a little bit of an understanding, which is also really great because I know a lot of people can relate to that. And it's just such a feel-good book because of how the characters are so emotionally mature that even if misunderstandings happen or feelings get hurt, it doesn't mean the end of things. It doesn't mean, oh, you hurt me, I'm cutting you out of my life. It's, oh, wow, I hurt you. I'm sorry. How can I make this better so we can move forward and be closer than ever? And I love that so much. So that's why it's such a feel-good book. So if you're in need of any kind of feel-good about relationships, friendship, romance, anything like that, this is definitely a really good book to read because it is such a feel-good book. I promise. There's nothing in here that could make you feel bad. It's just all good. It's such a good book to read, just to give you hope and some optimism for relationships between anyone. So I think that's why it's one of my favorite books of last year. But yeah, so highly recommend that book. I'm probably going to be reading it again whenever I have time because I have a ginormous stack of books to still read, so we'll find out, we'll see. But I really appreciate anyone who watches this. I make these videos just because I like to. I don't really get paid to do this, obviously. I just feel like I always wanted to make videos about something, and books are something that I've always loved, and making videos about books just kind of seemed like the right thing to do. So anyone who watches these videos about the books that I read, it really means a lot to me. It really, really does. So thank you so much for watching, and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video and other videos of mine, because you'll get notified when I upload more videos, which I do every Friday morning. Like this video if you enjoyed it, comment if you've read this book before, or now you're gonna read it because, oh good, I needed a feel-good book to read. And share it with your friends, honestly. I don't say that a lot because I'm always worried, like, oh, people won't like my videos, but if you're watching this video, there's a possibility your friends might like it too. So share this video. Maybe someone else hasn't heard of this book and they would benefit from it, so please do. And I really appreciate every single person that interacts with my content in any way. Even if you're commenting something negative, you're still interacting with my content. So thank you. And I will see you all next week.